They accused me in front of everyone on that bus, voices rising, fingers pointing, and I sat there in my seat near the back, holding my worn work bag on my lap, feeling every pair of eyes turned toward me like I was already guilty. And what they didn't know, what none of them could have known, was that the truth was about to stop that bus in the middle of downtown Chicago and force every single person to face what they'd done. I'm 39 years old, work as a maintenance technician for a property management company, the kind of job where you fix broken heating systems and unclog drains and change light bulbs in apartment buildings all over the city. And I take the bus every day because I can't afford a car, not with rent and child support and everything else. And I have short, dark brown hair that's usually messy by the end of a shift, a few days worth of stubble on my face because shaving every morning feels like a luxury I don't have time for, medium skin tone, brown eyes that are always watching, always careful, and I wear the same dark work jacket over a plain t-shirt and faded jeans, carrying an old backpack that holds my tools and my lunch and whatever else I need to get through the day. That afternoon, I'd finished the job on the south side, replaced the water heater in a basement that smelled like mold and rust, and I was covered in dust and sweat when I caught the number 49 bus heading back north. And the bus was crowded, rush hour, people standing in the aisles, everyone tired and irritable. And I found a seat near the back, next to the window, dropped my bag between my feet, and leaned my head against the glass, just wanting to close my eyes for the 40-minute ride home. And for the first few stops, everything was normal. People getting on and off, the usual sounds of a city bus, conversations, phone calls, the hiss of the doors opening and closing. Then at the stop near State Street, a woman got on, mid-30s, business suit, expensive purse, and she was talking on her phone, not paying attention to where she was going. And she sat down across the aisle from me, still talking. And after a few minutes, she reached into her purse to pull out her wallet, and her face went pale. And she started frantically searching through her bag, pulling things out, looking more panicked with each passing second. And finally, she stood up and said loudly, her voice shaking, "My wallet is gone! Someone took my wallet!" And the entire bus went quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing and looked up. The bus driver called back, "Are you sure you had it with you?" And she said, "Yes, I had it when I got on. I know I did. Someone on this bus stole it." And people started murmuring, looking around suspiciously at each other. And then her eyes landed on me, and I saw the moment she decided I was the one, saw her expression change from panic to accusation, and she pointed at me and said, "It was him. He's been sitting right there since I got on. He must have taken it." And my stomach dropped because I knew what was coming. I've lived this before. I know how this story goes. I looked at her and said calmly, keeping my voice steady even though my heart was racing, "Ma'am, I didn't take your wallet. I haven't moved from this seat." And she shook her head, took a step closer, and said louder, "You're the only one sitting close enough. It had to be you. Give it back right now." And other passengers started turning in their seats, some looking at me with suspicion, some with open hostility. And I felt the weight of their judgment, felt myself becoming guilty in their eyes without a single piece of evidence, just because I looked tired, because I was wearing work clothes, because I was sitting in the back of the bus with a dirty backpack. A man sitting a few rows up said, "Check his bag. If he took it, it'll be in there." And the woman said, "Yes, check his bag. I want my wallet back." And I felt anger flash through me, but I kept it contained, kept my voice level, and I said, "I'm not opening my bag. I didn't take anything, and you can't just accuse someone without proof." And she practically shouted, "You're refusing because you're guilty. Everyone can see it." And more people started agreeing with her, nodding, saying things like, "Just let her check it, and if you have nothing to hide." And I sat there feeling trapped, feeling like no matter what I said, no matter what I did, I was already convicted in their minds. The bus driver pulled over to the curb, turned on the hazard lights, and walked back to where we were sitting. And he was an older black man, maybe in his 60s, with tired eyes and a patient expression. And he said, "Okay, let's all calm down. Ma'am, are you certain your wallet was taken?" And she said, "Yes, absolutely, and he took it." And the driver looked at me and said, "Sir, would you mind showing us what's in your bag, just to clear this up?" And I looked at him, looked at all the faces staring at me, and I felt humiliation burn in my chest. But I also knew that if I refused, they'd call the police, they'd search me anyway, and it would be even worse. So I said quietly, "Fine." I unzipped my backpack slowly, pulled out my things one by one, a lunchbox, a thermos, a flashlight, work gloves, a few tools wrapped in a towel, some paperwork from jobs I'd completed that day, and I laid everything out on the seat next to me, and there was no wallet, nothing that didn't belong to me, and the woman stared at my things, her face red now, and she said, "He must have hidden it somewhere else. Check his pockets." And I felt something inside me break. Felt the last bit of patience I had dissolve, and I stood up, looked her in the eye, and said, my voice harder now, "I am not letting you or anyone else search me. I didn't take your wallet, and I'm done being treated like a criminal because you lost something." The bus was completely silent, everyone watching, and the driver said, "Ma'am, I don't see any evidence that he took your wallet. Maybe you should check again. Maybe you left it somewhere before you got on." And she shook her head stubbornly and said, "No, I know I had it. Someone on this bus stole it." And then a teenage girl sitting near the front, who'd been quiet this whole time, raised her hand and said hesitantly, "Excuse me?" And everyone turned to look at her. And she said, "I think I saw what happened to your wallet." The woman turned to her, hope and suspicion mixed on her face, and said, "What do you mean? Did you see him take it?" And the girl shook her head and said, "No, I saw you drop it. When you got on the bus, you were on your phone and you pulled something out of your purse and your wallet fell on the ground near the front door. I tried to say something, but you didn't hear me." And the entire bus turned to look toward the front, and there, on the floor next to the driver's seat, partially hidden under the first row of seats, was a black leather wallet.
Emotional, evident internal tension. The bus driver walked to the front, bent down, picked up the wallet and held it up, and the woman's face went from red to white, and she stood there frozen, and nobody said anything, and the driver walked back, handed her the wallet, and said calmly, "I believe this is yours." And she took it with shaking hands, opened it, confirmed it was hers, and then looked at me, and I saw shame and embarrassment flood her expression, and she said quietly, almost whispering, "I'm sorry, I was wrong. I shouldn't have accused you." I didn't say anything, just packed my things back into my bag, zipped it up, and sat back down. And she stood there for a moment longer, then went back to her seat, and the bus started moving again. And for a few minutes, nobody spoke, the silence heavy with discomfort. And then, slowly, conversation started up again, people went back to their phones, but I could feel some of them still glancing at me, and I knew they were thinking about what had just happened, about how quickly they'd believed I was guilty, about how easy it had been to turn me into the villain. A few stops later, an older woman sitting across from me leaned over and said softly, "I'm sorry that happened to you. That wasn't right." And I nodded, appreciated the gesture, but I didn't say anything because what was there to say? This wasn't the first time, and it probably wouldn't be the last. And the truth is that people see what they want to see. They make assumptions based on how you look, what you're wearing, where you're sitting, and once they've decided you're guilty, it doesn't matter what the truth is. You're already convicted. When I finally got off the bus at my stop, the woman who'd accused me was still sitting there, looking down at her lap, and I walked past her without a word, stepped off onto the sidewalk, and headed home. And that night, I sat in my small apartment, still wearing my work clothes, thinking about what had happened, thinking about how it felt to have everyone on that bus look at me like I was a thief, like I was less than human. And I realized something I'd known for a long time but never fully accepted, that dignity isn't something people give you. It's something you carry with yourself even when everyone around you is trying to take it away. And the truth doesn't always feel like victory. Sometimes it just feels like survival. I still take the same bus every day, still sit in the back with my worn backpack and my tired eyes, still watch people get on and off and go about their lives, and sometimes I see that woman, the one who accused me, and she never makes eye contact, never acknowledges what happened, and that's fine. I don't need her apology, I don't need her guilt. What I need is for people to understand that before you accuse someone, before you decide they're guilty, before you join the crowd in pointing fingers, maybe take a moment, maybe ask a question, maybe remember that the person you're judging is a human being who deserves the same respect and benefit of the doubt that you'd want for yourself. because one day it might be you sitting in that seat, and you'll understand exactly how it feels when the truth has to stop everything just to prove you were innocent all along.